This morning, this is Rabbi Shlomo, Furst, Yeshiva, Tsama, Nafshi. We're located here in HaKodesh, in Yerusahlyim, in Israel, and not too far from the central bus station on Rav Zikron Yaakov number 6, in the Beit Knesset of Chanukah Yeshiva. So you're welcome to walk from there or anywhere else, drive, take a bus, and coming from Furst, please join us. We'll be happy and overjoyed in your participation in our shiurim. We're learning Pirkei Avos here. This is the first shiur in the morning, and we're now exploring what the Maharal Mitrag has to tell us about the second Mishnah in the first parak, meaning that Shimon HaTzadik had taught us three things. That the oilam is oimed al shlosha devarim, Torah, Vodah, Gemil, Sasad. So as the Mefarshim explained, that it's for the sake of these three things the world was created. So now the Maharal Mitrag is going into, as we started yesterday, the essence of something which is created. What's the essence of existence? Right? That's what we'll be working through the Maharal Mitzvah today. Amram, you like to begin for us today? We'll start again from the number 5 at the top of the page.
Yesh lecha lefaresh, you have to explain. Ki nivraim nivra'u b'shvil sheyesh b'hem hatov. That everything that was created was only for the good.
Now the Maharal is going to be saying this concept many times. And it's going to seem as if it's a repetition. So superficially it's a repetition, but really he's going deeper and deeper into trying to explain what this essence of existence being, that something which is Tov has a right to exist, something in there, and if there was no Tov in something, it obviously is not going to exist. Let's continue, we'll see.
And if there was no good, it wouldn't be created. Because something that is not good by itself, there's no reason for it to exist.
So something which something which is not good in essence, it's not fit that it should have existence. The fact that something exists, right, there must be some type of good in it, right? It is existence. Existence. It is existence. Reality, depending on the context. In this context, it's I think we can best translate it existence. Tzius is an existence. Reality being, yeah. If there was no good in something, it's better that it wouldn't, that it would be lacking, that the would be lacking it, and that it shouldn't have any existence. So as I mentioned yesterday, anything that's going to be created, take anybody, any designer, architect, inventor, whatever he's doing, right, a shoemaker, whatever a person's going to do, right, he's going to create something. He obviously has a goal in creating it. It has a purpose in existence. And that goal, that purpose of its existence has to have some benefit. So here, like, Tov is like benefit in this case.
But the existence for the good that's within it, and it was created for the good. All the more so that it exists in the world, everything that was standing for its existence.
Right. So kosher and kiyum oilam, even more so, much more so, the continuity, the continuation of the world, and midas kol nivroim, and the support, right? The support structure. The world is the world, the physical world as we know it, is a support structure for all those living creatures that are existence. That's the living support system for everything. That's everything that's alive. Is the physical world.
That's because within it there is the good. And if within it wasn't the good, then there was no reason for them to be in existence.
Right.
only because of the good that's within each person is there a reason for them to be alive. Because of this, there was a signature on every living creature at the time of creation. Hashem said that everything was good.
Right, so HaKodesh Baruch Hu, the Torah reveals to us when we learn those psukim in the first parsha of the Torah itself, right? Hashem saw and it was good. He was giving a stamp of approval that what was created was in fact absolutely good. There was an essence in its existence that was basically good and for a purpose.
So there's no person alive that is completely evil?
Right. Nothing's completely evil. It would be completely without purpose. And again, tov is in its context also, besides good, that's a general translation, but also beneficial. So even someone who's completely evil, still in some way has a beneficial purpose. We may not understand it completely, right? But there has to be some beneficial purpose in David HaMelech. Right, David HaMelech, he wondered what the purpose of a spider is. Right? And David HaMelech thought about what he was, all the Tehillim and all the praises of HaKodesh Baruch Hu for creating all the many different things in the world. So he thought deeply into the world as it was, and as he saw it, as he experienced it, and he praised everything, right, that he saw. And he was thinking about what the purpose of a spider could be. Until HaKodesh Baruch Hu set up a situation. When David HaMelech was being pursued by Shaul, who was the king, and Shaul suspected David HaMelech as being rebellious against the king, and therefore he was chayiv for being mored b'malchus, rebelling against the king, which is a serious death penalty. So David HaMelech was fleeing for his life. So David, he was being chased in the hills and the mountains. So he was chased into a cave. So HaKodesh Baruch Hu had a spider, right, come and make his web on the mouth of the cave. And so when because David was now trapped. He was trapped. He was stuck in the depths of a cave, and Shaul's men come and discovered him there. They were taking care of him right on the spot, right? So HaKodesh Baruch Hu had a spider come, make a web all around closing off the mouth of the cave, and the pursuers of David saw that there was a web of a spider there. So he said, obviously no one's in this cave. There's a spider web in the mouth of this cave. No one's inside, obviously. They didn't even bother to check. So David HaMelech was saved. So then he realized there was a purpose in the creation of the spider.
So if I were to mention a person who is totally evil, the answer would be, we just don't understand.
Yeah, I mean, we can't, again, we have to realize we can't really fathom everything that HaKodesh Baruch Hu has in mind. Take Haman, right? Haman, one of the arch villains in the history of the Jewish people. Pharaoh. Right?
It was good for Haman.
Yeah.
Because everybody did tshuva.
Right. The Gemara says the Mesiras Tabas. The Gemara says that the Mesiras Tabas, Achashverosh took off his ring, his signet ring of that represents the power of the kingdom, and gave it to Haman. Right. He said that did more than 24 prophetesses and prophets and 8 prophetesses, right, because they couldn't bring HaKodesh to do a full and absolute tshuva. Haman brought Klal Yisrael to their knees, more or less, and then we did a tshuva. That's right. Right. So.
So bad you have to do?
Yeah, it's unfortunate to have to reach such a situation like that. It could have been zigzag. It could have been done perhaps in a better way, right? But that's what when Yonah. Right, Yonah was given the command to go to Nineveh, right, and to prophesy to Nineveh that they should do tshuva because they're going to be destroyed. They don't do tshuva, they don't repent. So Yonah said he doesn't want to do it. One of the explore. What do you mean you don't want to do it? HaKodesh Baruch Hu is giving you a direct command. How can you refuse something that HaKodesh Baruch Hu is giving you a direct command? So he had very good reasons why he didn't want to do it. One of the very good reasons that he didn't want to do it is because he didn't want to embarrass the Jewish people, because he was going to go and prophesy to the non-Jews in Nineveh, and they were going to do tshuva, and it's going to show up the Jews that the prophets prophesies and they don't do tshuva, and you see the non-Jews, they get prophecy and they do tshuva. So he wanted to run away from his responsibility of doing the command of HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right? So you have situations where the prophets were ineffectual, but our enemies were more effectual in bringing about the will of HaKodesh Baruch Hu than even our greatest tzaddikim and sages.
So in the case of Haman, we would say that it's not that there was anything good about him, he was purely evil. But there was a side effect, that he had an effect on the Jewish people that was good.
Right. Besides that, Chazal also tells us, the Gemara also tells us that the grandsons of Haman learned Torah in Bnei Brai. They were Choser B'tshuva, right? And they became sages. They became wise Chachamim amongst the Jewish people.
So I thought all of his sons were killed.
10, yeah, he had 70 kids.
Yeah, he was a lot of kids.
A lot of kids. We only hear
Those
those
10.
That's right.
So why did they pick those 10?
They might have been the heads. They might have been the most influential. I really don't know why those specific 10, but I'm just guessing that they might have been the most influential, the most prominent of the sons.
I see.
And it could have been maybe he had sons that were young at the time, and so he didn't. Again, only during the battle, only those that came against us to fight against us during the battle on Yud Gimel Adar and Tez Vav, and Yud Daled and Shushan, only those ones got killed. We didn't go against every person we understood to be an Amaleki. Only those which came against us, we fought against and killed out. But there might have been others that were passive, so we didn't go after them. Maybe we could have, or maybe, but we did.
I thought there was a mitzvah to kill an Amalekite.
Yeah, that's true.
Amalekite.
That's true. But one of the conditions is that I think we need to have a king, and at that point we didn't have a king. And also, I believe we have to be in Eretz Yisrael. Have to be.
Oh, really?
I think so. According to the Rambam, I have to review the halakha to make sure. But that's the. If you look at the Psukim and the way the Rambam and others learn as well, it's something which is dependent on us having a king. So, even the arch enemies, absolutely completely evil. Even if there's no other purpose, that when the evil person falls from his heights of glory and honor, we see that HaKodesh Baruch Hu does bring down the evil people. Even if that's the only purpose that we see, that's still a purpose. But using the example, like any person who's going to create anything, he must have a beneficial purpose in it. Even if he's creating an atomic bomb. So in terms of the American mentality in mid 1940s, the Manhattan Project was a glorious opportunity to save mankind. So whatever, even objects of destruction obviously have some type of benefit. Right? To take care of your enemies, you want to destroy your enemies. So even though in absolute terms it may not be might be beneficial, it would be preferable if there was peace and tranquility throughout man and humanity, but if that's not existing, so to have people that are coming against you to do bad, even on Shabbos, people coming against you, armed people coming against you, you can pick up arms and defend yourself on Shabbos. You have a right to defend yourself on Shabbos. So, everything must have some type of a beneficial. The word good is, the expression that the Maharal is using is toiv. That's kind of nebulous. Right? But that's why I would say it's more like synonymous with being beneficial. Must be something beneficial. Again, we may not be able to see the actual benefit immediately, but it must, if it's created, it must have some kind of a benefit. Sure.
Taxi. Taxi.
Okay. הוא רצה משהו לשתות, או...
מבוטל? ביטלתי.
וכן בכלל כל הבריאה ביער, אלוקים את כל אשר עשה, והנה טוב מאוד. And inside all the creation, Hashem says that he saw, and it was very good.
Right. וזהו בפרט, כל בריאה ובריאה, בפני, so each and everything individually, right, got the, literally the okay from HaKodesh Baruch Hu that it was good.
ודבר זה, כי כאשר הדבר הוא טוב, in this thing, because when it's good, and this is אז ראוי לו לבריאה שיהיה נברא. Then it is good for that thing to be created.
Let's take again. ודבר זה, this thing, right, כי כאשר הדבר הוא טוב, that thing, what is good, it's beneficial, אז ראוי לו הבריאה שיהיה נברא. Therefore, at that point, it becomes proper that this thing should be created, this thing should come into existence. The Nimsa Davar Shu Tov, but it turns out that this thing is good, meaning the right for something to exist is because it's good, it's beneficial.
וכן אין לדבר קיום רק מצד הטוב. Therefore, it can only be in existence because of the good, from the side of the good. ובכל הימים נאמר כי טוב, חוץ מיום שני, and every day says כי טוב except on the second day. שלא נאמר כי טוב, did not say it's good on the second day. ואמרו חז"ל, מפני שבו נברא המחלוקת, because on that day מחלוקת was created. וזה שאמרו מחלוקת, שהיא לא לשם שמיים. And this was a מחלוקת that was not for the sake of heaven. אין סופים להתקיים, it wasn't going to stay in existence. כי לא נאמר בזה כי טוב, because it did not say Kito.
Yes, we could keep. In this case, it's key because, right? It didn't say because of this. It was said. Look, it wasn't say Kito. Meaning, of all the days of Ma'aseh Breshis, right? The expression Kito was mentioned, right? Except for Yom Sheni. So why wasn't it mentioned in Yom Sheni, the day that the second day of creation? Why wasn't it mentioned Kito? Right? Because that day was the day where there became machlokas. Right? Became machlokas, right? And machlokas, right, which is not l'shem shemayim. That's another mimer that we'll get in Pirkei Avos. We'll have that later on in the fifth parak. Kol machlokas shelo l'shem shemayim ein soifel is kayim. Meaning it does not have any continuity, any continuation. It will not last. It will not endure.
What's machloket here?
What?
Where was the machloket?
Sukkah?
What was the machlokas? That I have to take a look.
The machlokas the second day was the moon and the sun.
Basically, yeah.
No, the moon and the sun was the second day. The moon and the sun was the second day. It wasn't a fight. It was he complained two cats together, and Hashem lowered its status of the moon.
That Yom Sheni, the Gehinnom was created.
That's among the things, but in the Torah,
What does that have to do with the machloket?
No, well, that's why it's usually not expressed as that, but between the sun and moon being a machlokas. So,
well, yeah, it does because on Rosh Chodesh bring a chatas for Hashem.
Yeah, right. Well,
so that's a chatas Hashem. That Hashem, even though he wasn't wrong, that he still brings the chatas, right?
Right, but how was that? But how was that shalol l'shem shemayim? The moon's point. Well, let's go. The background is like this. There was according to Chazal, the sun and the moon were created the second day.
Right.
They were both of the same stature, and now the moon made a comment to HaKodesh Baruch Hu, a request basically, that you can't have two kings using the same crown. Meaning you have one crown, you can't have two kings. A king is one king, not two kings. They said, okay, if we have to reduce somebody, so since you made the comment, so we'll reduce you.
Right.
So the moon became somewhat less in stature than the sun. Now, how do we understand that that's what we call a machlokas shalol l'shem shemayim? Yeah.
Because if there was shalom, they shouldn't have bothered the moon. If there was shalom, the whole thing that one of them felt that he had to be above the other. So there was some kind of no peace on that side person because he said it. So there was peace. If I love you and you did the same way, I take you for who you are. But if I can't take you for who you are because we're both great, then there's already obviously some kind of resentment which starts from above.
Yeah, but the fact is a machlokas l'shem shemayim does have kiyum. You can have machlokas. Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel.
Right.
You can have machlokas, which does have kiyum.
Okay.
Right. The moral is telling us. It doesn't say he told you by Yom Sheni because it was a machlokas shelo l'shem shemayim.
That's right. It wasn't a l'shem shemayim machlokas.
I'm not sure why not. Listen, you have
why?
No, I'll tell you like this, right? You have two generals. You have one army, right?
Right.
So one of the two generals says to the president, says, "Look, I can't be a general without an army. I want me to be a general. I gotta have an army, right? Can't have a general without an army." So the moon and the sun, right? They were both kings, right? And there was only one crown. So the moon said, "Hey, you can't have a king without a crown. If you want me to be a king, I have to have a crown. Yeah, I made two kings with one crown, right?" So again, you have to realize what these are very symbolic understandings, which you have to spend a week and a half on the whole subject. I don't know why we can.
But if you take the other side of the coin, right?
Yeah.
Menashe and Ephraim is a perfect example.
Okay.
He crosses his hands.
Right.
They don't say a word.
Right.
It's coming to me. Peace.
No, because each one's going to get a bracha.
But the crisscross of the hands is what the bracha they're getting.
Right.
And he's willing to accept lesser. He's willing to be lowered.
Good.
Okay. Why? Because even though he's entitled to it, this is peace. The side of the moon didn't have that love. Didn't have that say, you know what? This is what God wants. That's what I'm going to do.
That's right, correct. That obviously, if this is what Hashem wants, obviously knowing much better than I know, this is what it is, this is what I have to accept. Fine, no problem. But the problem is still, how are we going to work out this partnership with one crown?
One is the day, one is the night.
So again, you have to realize what it means, the day and night. That, you know, we're trying to understand something which is in many ways symbolic. Meaning, what is it? We don't know at that point whether they were supposed to be one for the night and one for the day. Because if that was the case, what's the problem? Right?
So then, why is there a chatas on Rosh Chodesh?
No, there are a lot of explanations. That's something some of the Mepharshim say. Don't go into that. Don't even. There are explanations, right? There are explanations, but some say don't enter into this this subject. It's complicated. It's worth understanding somewhat, but some say it's not worth. You're not going to come out with understanding it very well and enough that it is worth the explanation to go into it. But I'm just trying to understand. I always understood that the moon didn't have a problem about it being lack of Shlem Shamayim. It was just now a Metzias. Okay, if it didn't bother you, right? So there's no problem. I mean, you work it out. This is the Ratzon of HaKodesh Baruch Hu, that there should be two kings with one crown. That's the way it is, right? It didn't bother you, right? So it didn't bother. We can work it out. But if it's bothering you, if the moon made a comment that it bothered, so it bothered him, right? So now we have to do something about it because I see it bothers you, right? But I'm not sure why we have to understand that was something which was a low l'shem shemayim.
Because you're complaining on what God's
No, just like again, go back to the two generals. One of the general without the army says to the king, right? Listen, I want to be your general. Right? I think other generals should be also, but we got to have two armies. We can't have one army for two generals. Right? Why does that have to be low? Why is that? I'm doing it for your sake, the king. I'm doing it for your sake, the king. That I want that it should be, a functioning army. Right? You can't have two generals. One says move west, and one says move east. You can't run an army that way. If you have two armies, so my army go west and his army go east. No problem.
We said that everything, we just learned just about that everything that God does is good.
Right.
So if He created two on the same level, it had to have been good. By complaining about it, you're saying that it wasn't good. So therefore, it's a machosh l'shemaim. It's based on what we just learned.
No, that jump I don't see. That
if God created
about
two great things,
yeah.
God created two great things, the sun and the moon. They were both great, right? Both same side. And we said that everything that God said was good.
Okay.
He didn't say good because of machloket. Machloket is, hey God, I'm not happy now.
Right.
So you're saying that what God did is not good.
But that doesn't make it lo l'shem shemayim.
Of course it does.
I'm not convinced.
Okay. I am.
What's lo l'shem shemayim?
It's not for the sake of heaven.
Not for the sake of heaven. Okay.
Moshe Rabbeinu says to Hashem, save this people, and if you're not going to save them, then take me out of your book. So, what would you say? Lo l'shem shemayim is just complaining?
Not at all. Moshe, I don't think that's a machlokas, the Shem Shemaim or not. What Moshe did, there was no machlokas there. Moshe was trying to save the Jewish people. I think there was no machlokas. There was no machlokas.
He says to Hashem, take me out of your
That's
book.
right, but there was no machlokas there. He's trying to save the Jewish people. It's very different.
Well, that's what the moon is doing.
No.
The moon is trying to save the world.
No, it's not. The moon is saying that what you created is not the way it should be.
And Moshe is saying, God, your idea of putting
No,
in this
because
book,
God,
take me out.
if you read the Mefarshim on the whole thing of Moshe, when 7 days Moshe is arguing with God, one of the things is that Moshe asked God, I can do anything to protect the Jewish people. That was one of the arguments, one of the discussions that he had with God. Okay, so when you're saying, when Moshe is arguing to protect the Jewish people, he had the permission to do that, to protect. That was his job. He was doing his job. He's not doing a machlok shem shemaim. He's protecting the Jewish people no matter what. And that's what he did throughout his life. And to protect the Jewish people, according to some people, the reason he hit the stone was not because he couldn't hit the stone. He hit the stone because he knew that if he talked to the stone and the stone would listen, and the Jews didn't listen, later on from the Nevi'im, so the Musatim would have said, hey, the stone listened and Jews don't listen, they would have been destroyed. So Moshe was willing to sacrifice his life. Aaron also was willing to sacrifice his life when it came to the Egel Zav, right? He created it because they killed Chor. And it says that if they killed 2 Gedolim on the same day, okay, the whole world gets destroyed. So he says, you know what? Better I should suffer Avodah Zarah. And he suffered 2 of his sons to death, okay, to protect Bnei Yisrael. So you're not going to tell me that Moshe arguing to save Bnei Yisrael is a machloket. It's not a machloket.
Okay, let's start with the beginning here.
I'm not trying to tell you that Moshe was a machloket. What I'm trying to show you is, just like Moshe was not a machloket, so the moon is not a machloket.
I don't agree with that one. Me personally, I don't agree. I don't see it that way.
Okay, so let's learn. Let's start with the beginning. No pun intended. Right? And here, Matthias, you want to read the psukim? You can read them in Hebrew, and then we'll read it over in English. Okay? Have it there, pasuk vav, right? There we have it.
Okay. Vayomer Elohim Yehi Rakiya Besoch Hamayim Behi Mabdil Bain Mayim Lamayim V'ya'as Elokim Es Harakiya V'yavdel Bain Hamayim Asher Mitachas L'Rakia Uvein Hamayim Asher Me'al
I have it wrong.
L'Rakia V'hi Chen V'yokra Elokim L'Rakia Shemayim V'yahi V'hi Erev V'hi Voker Yom Sheni.
We have it wrong. It was a creation of the sun.
Okay, hold on. Yeah. Okay, so that's number one. Now let's
It was a creation.
read it. Want to read over in English? Read the psukim in English.
And God
I
said,
thought it was a second name.
"Be there an
I don't know
expansive
what the fight is about that.
in the midst of an expanse in the midst of the waters, and let it cause a division between waters and the waters." And God made the expanse and caused a division between the waters which were under the expanse, all the waters which are above the expanse, and it was so. And God called the expanse heaven, and it was evening, and it was morning, a second day. And God said, "The waters shall be drawn together under the heaven
That's it.
into one place,
Isn't that the end of the second day?
1 second. Hold on.
and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth.
Oh, okay. That's already that's further, right? Okay, good. So you have so what? So first of all, right? No sun and no moon over here, right? That's number one.
So I made a mistake on that one.
Okay, no problem, no problem. And
You're allowed.
let's see.
It's a division of water.
That's what we have to understand.
So the division of water.
Let's look at the Rashis. Amram, you want to do the Rashis? Yes, let's start with Vav, Pasuk Vav, Vayivi Rekia. There's the Rekia.
יתחזק הרקיע שאף על פי שנבראו שמיים ביום ראשון עדיין לחים היו וקרשו בשני. And Hashem hardened the rakia, the heavens, that even though it was created on the first day, they were still soft.
Lachim, moist.
V'karshu b'sheni migarat HaKodesh Baruch Hu. And
they were hardened
by Amro Yeirakia, when he said the word Yeirakia. V'zeh she'amar amudei shamayim yerochafu kol yom rishon v'sheni. And this is what it means that the pillars of the heavens
were unsteady
on the first and second day.
And I think it's on the whole first day, whole Yom Rishon.
V'sheni yitmehu migarato ke'adam shemitomem ve'omed migarat hame'ayem alav. On the second day, it was like a person hardened something.
Right, they when a HaKodesh Baruch Hu, right, regards the HaKodesh Baruch Hu with the literally like the shout of the HaKodesh Baruch Hu, when Hashem said V'ayivarikia, when that utterance went out, so to speak, right, so therefore that stunned the Rikia, right, into being solidified like a person who you shout at, he stands straight and is when he's stunned by the shout that he gets. Okay.
Betoch hamayim, be'emtza hamayim, in the middle of the water. Sheyesh efresh b'mayim alinim l'rakia, but there's a difference between the waters that are above the heavens. Kemo be'ed harakia lamayim she'al haaretz, it's like the waters in the bottom, on the earth. Halamata shehem teluyim. But you hear from this that they are dependent on the word of the king.
Good.
And Hashem made the rakia. Tikno al amdo vehi asiyata kemo ve'asita tzipornea. He decreed that it should stand, and it was like. It became like a nail, like a
like a nail.
Hardened. Yeah. Me'al harakia, above the heavens. Al harakia lo ne'emar. Ela me'al harakia. It doesn't say on the heavens, but it says above.
Above
the heavens. Lefi shehem tu'oyim ba'avir, because they're standing in the air. U'mipnei ma lo ne'emar ki tov b'yom sheni. Why did he not say it's good on the second day? Because the work of the water was not finished until the third day.
Now, so the Maharal is explaining a different explanation of this. That doesn't mean he's arguing, because there's other explanations why it doesn't say Hitov on Yom Sheni. So the Rashi's explanation is because it had not yet be completed the work of the second day. So therefore, there was no necessity to say Hitov when the work of the second day hadn't been finished yet. Okay.
And something, and it was started on the second day, but something that's not finished, full, it's not full and it's not good. On the third day that he finished the work of the water, and he started and finished the next job. Kafabo kitov pamayim. They did 2 times kitov. Achad ligmar melachet hasheni. He did one for the work that he did on the second day, and for the work that he did on the third day.
Okay. Now, first thing is like this. You have to ask a couple of questions. First of all, with a preface, we have to realize that the way we're being taught by these words in the Torah is the way HaKodesh Baruch Hu wants us to understand these things, right? Rashi is explaining that the work wasn't complete on the second day, right? So you have to ask the question: what HaKodesh Baruch Hu can do anything? What's this idea? What's this concept that HaKodesh Baruch Hu didn't complete something? Why should there be work left over? Right? HaKodesh Baruch Hu ran out of time. Has v'sholom. Didn't have the stuff to do it. Has v'sholom. What's this whole concept that wasn't complete? Why wasn't it complete? Right? That's one question we have to ask, and then hopefully we're not going to have time to answer that right now. And another question is that if it wasn't complete, I guess it's not really a question, this is, we can make a statement. If it wasn't complete, we realize, as Rashi is teaching us, why it wasn't considered to be toiv, because it wasn't complete. Something which is only half-baked, it's half-finished, it doesn't have its purpose yet. So according to what the Maharal Midrash is telling us, right, it's very matim. It's very, you can't say, right, that it's good if it hasn't reached this beneficial state yet. So you can't say it's good if it hasn't reached this beneficial state, right? So if that's the case, why do we have to have another explanation about there was a machlokas shalom l'shem shemayim, right? Even the Maharal Midrash could explain why Kitov wasn't mentioned in the second day, because it hadn't been finished yet. Go along with Rashi's pshat, right? And explain, it didn't say Kitov, like Rashi said, because it hadn't reached its beneficial state. What's both? So, according to the Maharal, he brings a different explanation, which we'll have to stop now. We'll try and go, I'll have to prepare a little bit more to understand what the medrash that the Maharal is bringing, and how is that different from Rashi's pshat. So, got some homework. More for